Happy Monday, everyone. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you joining us from all around the world. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You know, I've been talking a lot to my team and to lots of you out there, and you've all been asking for more inspiration here on my YouTube channel. So I've been talking to a couple of designers that I have worked with for years who are not only great card designers, but they also make really great videos and they teach a lot of really fun techniques. And so what we decided to do is add a couple of segments each month to the Gina K Designs YouTube channel to give you guys more inspiration for the products that you already have in your collection or products that you've been thinking about, but you really need to see some more videos. Now, this isn't going to replace anything that we normally do. I'm always going to go live on Tuesday night and Thursday at my regular times. But these are additional videos from some fantastic creators that I know you guys already love. And I love them too. They're awesome people. Now, last week, we did a video here on the channel with Mindy Egan. Mindy did a pre-recorded video for us that was fantastic, featuring some products from our new release. And then she went live that night and did another video where we were all hanging out in the chat. We're going to do something similar this week with this video. We've brought Meghann Andrew in to make a fantastic video with one of the, actually, maybe more, but one of the new products from our last release that a lot of you already have. And then Meghann is going to go live on Wednesday on her own channel featuring some more Gina K Designs inspiration. And I'm going to be there with her. In fact, I may be a special guest on her channel, and that'll be on Wednesday. So this isn't going to replace anything that we already do. It's just a little bit extra for you to help inspire you to use the things that are in your collection. Now, before we get started with Meghann, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Hola.
How are you today?
We are matching.
And you know what? We're not only matching, but we're matching Megann's card.
Wow.
And Meghann is matching her card in her portion of today's show too.
Totally planned.
Totally planned. No, it was not planned at all. I got up this morning and put this on, and then I was looking at Megan's card and everything, and I'm like, ooh, I kind of match her card today. And then here you show up with that. That's perfect.
Yes, fun when we match.
Well, it's good to see you today. Are you doing well?
I am better than horrible, yeah.
Tom rode his bike in today. It is actually in the 60s today here in Milwaukee. We're getting cold again though, guys. Don't get comfortable with it. The snow is coming. 2 snowstorms are coming, but we're going to enjoy this beautiful spring, and we know that with daylight savings time, the warm weather can't be too far behind, right?
It's an awesome day.
It sure is.
It's an awesome ride.
All right, and let's give a big shout out to Brianne Loveland, who is here in the chat. Brianne's going to be sharing links to anything that Meghann uses in today's video, so if something strikes your fancy, if you'd like to use one of those links, that would be great. And so, what do you think, Tom? Should we get started?
That sounds great.
Okay. All right. Well, a big shout out to Meghann Andrew for making the time to create this fantastic card today. And let's welcome her to the program, Meghann Andrew.
Hello friends, I'm Meghann Andrew, and I'm so excited to be with you today on the Gina K Designs YouTube channel. I loved this past release, and one of my favorite stamps in the release was So Many Words. It also has a coordinating die set. As soon as I saw this set, I immediately had a vision for the card that I'm going to create with you today. And I had to pull out one of my favorite stencils. It's a tried and true favorite, Bold Balloons. So in this video, you'll watch me create a celebratory, really fun and colorful card that combines ink blending with stencils and stamping with embossing, and I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks along the way and some fun techniques as well. So I hope you enjoy this video and you love the card that I create, and it makes you pull out your products and create the same thing this week. Let's get right down to my table and these amazing products. To create my card project today, I'm going to be using the new So Many Words stamp and die set. When I saw this set, I immediately loved it because of all of these positive, fun words in this big, bold font that are all together on that slightly smaller than A2 size panel. What I love about it is that with the die set, you can cut those out individually to use on multiple cards, or you can use this entire panel all as one stamp, and that's what I'm going to do today. Now, I wanted a fun background to go behind that big, bold word background. So we're going to be layering up some stenciling using a past favorite. This is the Bold Balloons art stencil. This is a really fun stencil set, and if you have this in your stash and you have So Many Words, I think you'll love this project and want to create it right away. So right now I have my grip mat out with a piece of smooth white A2 cardstock, and I have a nice warm color palette. It's really important here that you choose either warm or cool. So we're not mixing warm and cool colors on this card background, and I'll explain why as we go along. So let's get right to our card project, and we're going to start by stenciling some balloons. So our stencil has 5 balloons on it. I'm going to actually do 7. So we're going to do these 5 as I've placed them on my cardstock here, and then we're going to repeat 2 more and kind of layer up that color. I love the look that you get when you layer up 2 different colors. It really creates a fun kind of 3D effect. I'm going to start out with Petunia here. This is going to be my boldest kind of color and my pink brush. Now notice that I've masked off the balloons around. Now when I do something like balloons, I know that I want the balloon to look like it is 3-dimensional, and to get that 3-dimensional look, I'm going to make sure that I leave kind of a lighter spot on the balloon. Now, what I can do here is choose one side that all of the balloons will have that light spot on, so that it looks like there's a light source coming from a certain side. Now, on this card, I'm gonna make that side the left side. So you can already see here that I did a general wash of color, and then I'm going in and layering up my color kind of on the right side only, leaving the left side, which is that one level of that layer of lightest pink that I did, but then I'm going to layer extra pink kind of in that right area only, kind of going around the edge of the stamp. So now you can see that I have that really light area right there and the darker areas around it. And I'm going to keep it just like that. That's exactly how I want it to look. So now I can take my cloth and just wipe up all of that excess Petunia ink, and then pick up my tape, and then we're going to move to the next balloon. So let's take some tape and cover up these balloons. And I'm going to clean up any pink that I have on my work surface and grab Peach Bellini. Okay, I'm going to follow suit in the exact same way as I did before, doing an overall wash of color. And then going along the outside to make that color a bit darker. There we go. So now we have that lighter side and then the darker side. I am going to wipe up any of that Peach Bellini there. And then we can mask off again. This time I'm going to mask off both of those balloons and also make sure to mask off that little kind of shine mark that's up there. And I'm going to grab Sweet Mango. We're going to go to this balloon with my orange brush. Okay, overall wash of color. And then we're just laying down that color on the right side. There we go. Now you will notice as you move along that your colors do tend to dry back quite a bit. And by that I mean that the color soaks into the paper, so it might not look as bright as it did a few minutes ago. So if that's the case and you want to go back and add a little bit more color, say I wanted to add more Peach Bellini on here, then I would just mask off again and go back and add more of that color. Okay, so let's go to this bottom right corner. And for this one, I'm going to use Sun-Kissed Coral. And I will use the same brush that I used for Peach Bellini. That's kind of my salmon colored brush. Overall wash of color. And then I'm going to lay down more color along that right side. And this one has just that beautiful coral color. I love this color so much. Sun-Kissed Coral is just one of my favorites. Okay, wipe off that excess ink. And that just helps you not to get sun-kissed coral in the next color that you're going to be inking up. It also helps your hands to stay cleaner so that you don't smudge your paper. Okay, the last color I'm going with here, we're gonna go back to a mini, and that is going to be, ooh, which one? Wild Dandelion or Marigold? Ooh, I think we're gonna go with Marigold actually. Let's go with Marigold. I had both of my yellows out, couldn't decide. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to cover up that balloon, grab my yellow brush, and do the same one more time. And you can actually mix up your colors too. So if this is feeling a bit too lemony yellow for me, I can go in with butterscotch here and just add that extra color. Clean off my brush with butterscotch. This is another color that I just love, and I'm going to be using it on the background. So we're going to add a whole nother layer of color over our balloons too. Okay, see how I did that? And that gave it more of a orangey yellow look, and it still has that kind of highlight area. We're just adding a bit more color with a different color. There we go. So I love the way that looks. Okay, so then we can wipe this off. Give it a good wipe. Now I said I wanted to do 7 balloons, so here's what I'm going to do. We're gonna move our stencil. Look how great those look. Isn't that fantastic? And you can really see there how they just pop off of the card because they have that really subtle lighter area there, and that's all on the left side. So it makes them look really three-dimensional. Okay, so here, let's take another balloon from here. I think what I'm gonna do actually is put it right up here. Have it come off the card. And that one is going to go right there. So I'm going to cover up here. I'm going to make sure this little shine mark is covered up. And we can layer some color there. So let's do, ooh, let's do Sun-Kissed Coral again because it'll be kind of directly across from that one, kind of winging it here, just going along with how I feel. So we're going to use the same technique, just go in with a lighter layer of color, and it's going to layer over our sweet mango really beautifully. Okay, so now let's go in with that darker color on the right side only. Ooh, we also want to make sure that we don't catch the edge of our card. But if we do, it will probably be okay because I do like to crop things typically. So if that was the case, it is okay. All right, so there is that balloon. I just want to make sure I have enough color right here along that top edge. Let's give that just a quick wipe. And I did catch that edge just a tiny bit, but it's going to be okay. But look at how that looks overlapping that other balloon. I love it. All right, now I want one more. And I'm going to go down to this area. And I think we should go with one of our cranberries. Let's go with medium cranberry. And it can overlap that sun-kissed coral. Okay, so I'm gonna cover up that whole area right there. Cover up here. And I'm gonna grab my cranberry. All right, let's go in lightly here. This is a pretty new ink pad. If you have one too, yours are pretty new, so you want to go in really lightly here. Okay, and then I'm going along the right side to get that bolder color. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Oh, that is fantastic. I just love that. So much fun. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is take my cardstock off of my grip mat completely, because the next step that I wanna do is ink up the background. And just add some color to that background so that we don't have a fully white background. But first I need to do a little bit of cleanup just so I don't put my finger in any ink and smudge anything, because we have this background that we already love and we don't want to mess that up. Okay. So I am going to grab butterscotch, because this is a really nice warm yellow, and it's going to create the perfect kind of background that I want for this card. I'm going to really clean off that yellow brush to make sure that I'm really getting butterscotch and not any other color that I may have used with my yellow. Okay, making sure my cardstock is nice and straight. I'm gonna lay that down, and we're gonna do an overall light wash of butterscotch, because I want that background to be a bit more yellow. It's almost going to give it like a slightly hazy look when we're done. And it's gonna look really fantastic. And this is why it's important to choose only your warms or your cools, instead of mixing it up with red and green, which can make brown. So it's really important to choose either your blues and greens, purples even, because you can get some really cool purples, or go more towards your reds, oranges, pinks, and yellows. Because that background color is going to overlap on the color that you used on your balloons. So for instance, if I was choosing cool colors for this card, and you could certainly do the exact same thing with your cool colors, I would probably do a light wash of blue on the background. Just gonna bend that down, or a really light teal, like, you know, like sea glass. That would be so pretty. Now let's see what we think about that. Really beautiful. And if there are any areas where you think you need to fill in, just add a little bit more color. You can certainly do that, but now we've taken away all of that white which is really important because we are going to be embossing with white on top of this. So we're going to add a totally new layer on top. So this is just the first step. This is just the background. Okay. Okay, let's go with that, because we can always go back after we emboss and add more color if we feel like we want to do that. So I'm going to stop there and get ready to stamp. So we're going to be stamping on our background, and we're going to also be embossing. So the first thing I want to do is use an anti-static pad to make sure that my embossing powder only sticks where I want it to stick, and that's where the ink is. Okay, so I'm going to grab my stamp set. It's a big one, so you want to make sure that you take that off really carefully, stand up and get that centered. Okay, and even if it's not centered, you can do some cropping to make sure it is correct in the end, but try to get it as centered as you can. Then I'm going to pick up that stamp with the top of my MISTI, just like that. And my stamp has already been used, so it's primed. I'm going to use Gina K's white pigment ink. This is going to make a big difference when I go to emboss. Also notice that I placed my panel down in the bottom right corner of my MISTI, just in case I need to do a second coat. I want it to be in that corner. Okay, so I'm really inking up with this pigment ink really well here. I'm going to close the door of my MISTI and really get that ink on there. Okay, now I can gently pick this up and I'm going to put this into my white embossing powder and just let that go all the way across the card. Give it a good tap on the back side. Now I'm going to grab one of my favorite little tools that cost about $1.50 in my stash and put this on a little clipboard and grab my heat tool and emboss. Okay, now that looks pretty good, but when you go over it a second time, it looks really fabulous. So I'm going to repeat the process all over again by placing my card panel in that bottom right hand corner, just like it was before, making sure that's stuck down really well because it is a little bit warped, and you also have powder all over your grip mat. So you want to make sure that that is all the way down and in place. Make sure you cover up with your anti-static powder again. Ink up with our white pigment ink. And stamp. And I'm going to repeat that pigment ink one more time to make sure I get a really good layer on there. Okay. Take off my card panel here. Put it back in my embossing powder. Now that second layer definitely makes your font look a lot whiter and it fills in some of those letters more. Now you could go in, if you're not happy with that layer, and do one more layer. Sometimes in the center you won't get as much of a stamped, it won't stamp as well in the center as it does on the outside, so you can go back in and just do the center to get even more as well. Once you're sure that your embossing powder is dry and set, then you can take a clean cloth and just give everything a good wipe to get any excess powder off of the front. And you can see here that the tip of my heat gun actually touched the letters as I was heat embossing, but that's okay because I do have a sentiment that is going to go right there, so I'm not worried about it. So this is just our background. So we layered up stenciled ink blending and stamping with heat embossing to create this really fun and layered and very interesting background. So now we just need to add a focal point and a sentiment to go on front. But first I want to do a little bit of layering. Okay, here I have the largest die from Master Layouts 14, and it fits around my words just perfectly. So I'm going to use some masking magic strips here because I do not want my die to move at all. I want to make sure that this stays in place when I die cut. So I'm just going to put some masking magic around here once I get this in place. You just want to make sure your die almost looks like it is touching those letters. Okay, so let's trim this out. So now that I have my panel die cut, I'm going to layer that with a piece of Petunia Cardstock because I really want that pop of pink around the edges. I'm going to do a nice thin line all around the four sides. And then we can just give this a little trim, making sure that it is looking even. And now I can just pop this on to my folded card base. Okay, so now let's add a sentiment and a focal point. Now I've grabbed this balloon from the So Many Words stamp. And I'm going to pick that up with my Misty. And what I'm going to do is create an ombre effect. I'm going to move my Misty so you can see what I'm doing here. First, I'm going to cover up the balloon at the top only with some Petunia. Now, I can even go in with my blending brush here and just soften the bottom area and then stamp. Now I'm going to repeat that one more time. Just give it a couple of taps along the bottom. Really get that color in there. And don't worry about what it looks like just yet. It's going to dry back. Then I'm going to go in with Sunkissed Coral and go from the bottom up to about that area that I went to with Petunia. Now on this one, I'm going to do just a little light touch. So now you can see that just the bottom is inked up there. And then really press that ink in there, and look at that. Isn't that cool? Creates a really cool ombre effect. So doing the exact same thing. So you want to really do this twice, maybe 3 times. It's according to how inky your ink, your pads are, just to really get that good coverage. That looks fantastic, and that is going to dry back into the paper and look really great. We're going to do one more. So that means I really need to clean that stamp, get all that ink off. Okay, so let's do Sweet Mango at the top and Peach Bellini at the base. So here I'm going to just press some Sweet Mango into the top. And I'm going to grab my orange and just tap along that bottom edge. Okay. All right, and then let's go in with Peach Bellini at the base. And we can always go back to that Sweet Mango if we wanted to. I'm going to do a little tapping, soften that edge. And if you don't like the way these two colors combine, you can try again. As much white paper as you have, that's how many times you can try your color combinations out. And I think I'm going to do one more balloon because I'm not loving that combination. So let's go for Sweet Mango and medium cranberry this time. Going in with the medium cranberry. And I'm going to give this a little tap along the edges to soften. Oh, that one's fun. Loving that one. See what we think about that. Oh, that's so fun. Yes, loving that one. Okay. So now we can clean off our stamp. And the other thing that I want to stamp is a sentiment, because we have all these words on the background, but we don't actually have a sentiment. We have lots of positive words, so marvelous, wonderful, fabulous, beautiful, terrific. And if we put in every way just down here, then that means that the person who receives this card is all of those things in every way. So I'm going to stamp that, and I want to do that in black and also have some strings for our balloons as well. So I'm grabbing my Gina K amalgam ink. And we will also ink up 2 balloon strings, as long as it doesn't stay stuck to my finger. Okay, here I have the balloon and the balloon string coordinating dies, and I'm die cutting out my shapes. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. Okay, and the string, there we go. I'm also going to use the leftover bit of paper to cut out 2 more of my sentiment so that I can stack the layers. Now we just have to put our card together. So my sentiment layers are already adhered together, and I'm just going to use my Connect matte glue here to add the stamped layer on top. But I'm not going to put that on just yet because I think my balloon strings may run underneath of it. Okay, so my balloons, I'm going to go ahead and adhere the strings on, and I think they are exactly the same way, whether you flip them or not. So I'm going to put just a little bit of glue here and hold that on. I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back side. Okay, just getting a feel for where I want this one to go. I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back side of this one as well, because they are going to be just slightly overlapping. And put a little bit of glue back here to get the string in place. And make sure that is centered. Okay. So I do want one string to be kind of coming off of that bottom edge of the mat. And just gonna do it right there. And then I can put In Every Way right there. And then my second balloon will go a bit higher up, right about there. So that string can just overlap the edge, or I can tuck it right about here, having the balloon come off of that edge. And I think I like that option a little better. Let's just do it just like that. Just have the balloon come off of that edge just ever so slightly. Then I can get that glued up, but first I'm going to put just a teeny bit of glue down to get my strings stuck down. There we go. And then I can just get that sentiment placed right there. Making sure that's nice and straight. Because this is a celebratory card, we have to have a little bit of bling. So I grabbed the clear quartz sequins. I also tried the rhinestones, but the sequins are definitely showing up more. So we're just going to put 5 around these balloons. And there we go. What a fun card. I love everything about it. I really thought that this would be a really cool way to use the so many words stamp and just layer it up with these balloons. One really quick thing to point out, because we did that overall wash in yellow after we ink blended the stenciled balloons, that's what helped to keep this background less contrasty so that the things on the front could really pop out like these ombre balloons. It just makes it so that the background, which could be really bold, is not bold. It's just more kind of subtle in a way, and just really, really, really fun. I love it so much. Thanks so much for joining me here on the Gina K Designs YouTube channel today for this card making tutorial. I had so much fun bringing this card to life from the idea that I envisioned in my mind, and I hope that a few ideas popped into your head as you were watching. If you missed the So Many Words stamp and die set or love the bold balloon stencil, be sure to shop the supplies that I used in this video by finding all of them in the video description below. If you want to see more from me, join me live on Wednesday, March 11th at noon Eastern Time as I create with more Gina K Designs products. Thanks so much to Gina for the opportunity to share with you today, and as always, happy creating, my friends.
Oh my gosh, Meghann, that card was so amazing. I was just watching all the comments and chatting in the thread, and it seems like you guys loved it as much as me. When I first saw that card, I thought it was a whole different technique, and the way I would have done that card would have been 10 times harder. So Meghann, thank you for that great technique. I actually took notes while I was watching because I was so mesmerized. And some of the things that I really loved that Meghann did was, first of all, I don't know why, but I never think about embossing twice. So that was just brilliant that she embossed and then she went back over it with embossing and watermark ink and added that extra layer of white embossing powder. It just made everything so much bolder, and it kind of thickened up the lines a little bit of the font, which I loved. I thought that was exceptional. And then how many of you had a light bulb moment, an aha moment when she used that mini clipboard to emboss? Because so often I'm either holding it and burning my fingers, or I'm using a wooden clothespin, which isn't a bad idea, but certainly a better idea for small pieces. When you have a whole big thing like that, you can leave it on the clipboard. I thought that was really incredible. So that's another thing that I wrote down. I have to go get a mini clipboard. And then I've seen this before, but for some reason today when Meghann did it, it stuck. Is the idea of, instead of using foam squares to pop up your greeting, just to cut extra white pieces with the same greeting out of that scrap of paper and just stack those. Then the greeting doesn't dent in the middle, or you don't have to worry about that foam being pressed down. It makes it nice and rigid. So that was another aha moment for me. And then I love the ombre inking of the balloons. I thought, I don't think that I would have thought to do that. I would have probably just picked 2 of the colors and made my balloons plain. But the ombre really played off of the ombre background, and I thought that was really great too. She really did. She had brilliant, I agree with you, Ray, she had brilliant tips today. So Meghann, thank you so much for being here and sharing your talent with us. Now, if you're new to Meghann Andrew, she's got a YouTube channel. I'm going to link her YouTube channel in the description down below the screen here on YouTube. make sure you subscribe to her channel because she's full of ideas, and she always participates in our releases. So you can go back and watch so many of Meghann's Gina K Designs ideas for stamp sets and stencils that you already have in your collection. She's really brilliant. So make sure you subscribe to her. And then, like Meghann said at the end of her portion, she's going to go live this Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time, noon Eastern Time. And she's going to be using Gina K Designs again. And I'm going to pop in on her live to visit. And I think we're going to do a little something together that I think you guys will enjoy. So look forward to that. So in the meantime, everybody, Tom and I will be back tomorrow night with our regular Stamp and Chat Live. I will have a brand new card project for you, so I hope you will join us then. And we're going to give away a gift card today. Tom, can we do that?
Let's go.
All right, let's give away a gift card
ready
to
to
one
pull
lucky
the
chatter.
reins.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Drum roll, please. Here we go. Today's winner is Jennifer Mielo Shook, 3174.
Yay, Jennifer! Congratulations! You are our winner. All you have to do is send your name and email address to info@ginakdesigns.com, and we will get that $15 gift card right out to you. Okay, now if you liked today's video, and we certainly hope that you have, if you wouldn't mind giving it a thumbs up and let other people know that this video is something they might be interested in, and if you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button and all notifications so you never miss another video. And also, if you did like this video, make sure you leave a comment in the comments below if you're watching it on replay. If you like this idea of Tom and I bringing other guest designers in like this, because, oh man, I thought it was super fun. It's just a whole new way to come up with ideas for your card projects. We each have our own style, right? So it's fun to have different styles here on the channel. And then, if you're not a member of our Facebook group, we'd love to have you over there. The name of the group is Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends. You can find 50,000 plus members all sharing their Gina K Designs projects, so you can get even more ideas for these fun products. And a big shout out once again to Brianne Loveland. Brianne, thank you so much for being here and linking everything that Meghann used today. But if you missed anything, you can find everything that Meghann used on our website at ginakdesigns.com. All right, everybody, Tom and I will be back tomorrow night with another Stamp and Chat Live, so we hope you will join us for that. And in the meantime, stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.